Beginning. I love it.
Tortured souls. Science. Paranormal. Tortured souls. Entertain, educate, recreate, and intoxicate.
I love our opening.
It is good.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Three Tortured Souls. We have a +1 today. We have the side-eye guy with us.
Hello,
Nice.
Thank you for having me.
Just
Our
give you
pleasure.
Welcome.
He talks a lot. Just
Good.
letting everyone know he just
Don't know what you're talking about.
talks a lot.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So we may not have to do a show. We can just let him do it.
Well, between
Anyway.
the two of you, Tim and I are just going to sit back, turn the mics
Yep.
off, and watch the show with everybody else.
I bet normally you're the one who doesn't shut up.
Yeah, I do. I talk a lot. I do. I've been told by people that watch the show that have complained
Oh,
about
that
me
Kenny Biddle, he doesn't
talking
stop.
too much. So tonight we are reviewing and critiquing an episode of Ghost Adventures. It's the premiere episode. We talked about this on the last show. They went to the filming location house from the first Poltergeist movie, 1982, filmed in 1981, released in 1982, and it was. They went to the house to do a 2-hour premiere investigation, and we watched it. Some of us watched it twice. We have notes. We all have notes. I have 2 pages of notes. I know you guys have notes. Dave, I know he has tons of notes too. And Seg's just going to go from memory.
I feel like my brain is protecting me a little bit, so I'm flushing some of it out. But I'll have to claw some back in for this.
So
wow,
it's a 2-hour show. We have usually like a 1-ish hour show, so we'll jump right into it and try to get through some of these topics. I figure like we'll do our opening remarks and then go around and just pick certain topics to pick on, and then we'll all comment on them.
Okay.
I'm good. Yeah. Okay. So opening remarks, Tim, go ahead. You go first.
Shit.
It Stole
was
my
amazing.
opening remark.
It is. Yeah, that's it. That's all. That's it. It was amazing to me. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know why that they would pick this place other than a business deal.
Yeah,
which I probably won't comment anymore on that, but I can certainly see the benefit of that. Some of the phrasing and some of the wording and some of the way that they talked about the place was very interesting to me, just based on because of what I do, which is probably what I picked up more on. Other than that, it was I quit probably about the 55-minute and just came back the next day because it was too hard. I don't want to say it's so basic. Like there's so many opportunities to learn and to take better data and to figure out better ways to do things. I don't want to get into it right here because I'll end up like Kenny and just I won't stop. I'll get on a rant. But there were just so many opportunities. Dave and I were having a lot of fun with the scientific equipment. That was fun. I'm going to leave Dave probably to that one. But yeah, I didn't see anything in it that was compelling. I tried to, the thing with me and his language was, I think it was interesting. And I've thought this before, but I went ahead and tried to count. It feels like when he wants to make a claim but doesn't want to state the claim, there's a lot of, are these signs of ghosts? Did the placement of the coffins cause a curse? Could this, and I tried to count them, and there were just too many. And I thought that was very interesting, that he seems to want to avoid openly averring a claim,
right?
But just does have, I've got 3, 15, 17 of the times I just tick marked. I tried to write them all down, but it was too much. But I found that interesting, that he avoids a claim, but yet lets the claim kind of be out there by presumption.
Yeah, just lets it ride. Doesn't commit to it.
No.
Lets it ride.
Lets it ride. And keeps boosting it with the,
right.
Is it like one of them, is this house being built on Indian ground or Native American ground the cause of the curse? It's that type. It's enough to and that irritates me. Either state what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're going to measure it, and what you expect your results to be, or just don't.
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Sorry. Dave, what do you think?
Well, there was a lot of shit. First time
I could have used the pot.
First time I tried to watch it, 10 minutes, irritated beyond belief. It wore me out. In 10 minutes, I fell asleep. Next time, I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it. I made it through it. I mean, I agree with what Tim said. And honestly, by the time I was done, it was one of those like, holy shit, what the fuck was that? That's where I was at afterwards. And I don't want to get into too much because we're going to probably cover a lot of topics, but I found it, what Tim said was right. It's like it seems like they went in with an idea and they built a story around it, but then they blended the story of possible, you can't even say realistic potential paranormal activity with the movie, which was really bizarre. To me, it was totally bizarre.
Yeah.
And then Tim said something about scientific equipment. I'm sorry, Tim. I missed the scientific equipment part. There was equipment, but I didn't see any scientific equipment.
You didn't see the obvious?
You did say scientific equipment, right?
That's what they
anyway,
said.
I think we were talking a little bit about this before we came on air, and this was bad even for Ghost Adventurers.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. There's going to be a lot of me just going like this tonight. So anyway, off to you two.
What is so quickly summarize opening remarks?
You bastard. So I watched it just I started watching it like 2 hours ago. So like quickly, because I'm on this live stream right now. I fell asleep. For I don't know, maybe like around the 30-minute mark or something like that, because it doesn't need to be a 2-hour episode. It could just be a regular ass thanks Andrew. Yeah. It could just be a regular Ghost Adventures length episode. There's nothing special about this whatsoever, and the build up to it was just so long and boring and just nothing, just a lot of nothing talk.
Mm-hmm.
The funny bit is where I think Tim mentioned about that, because like they actually, like, there's a really funny moment from Zach where he actually says, "This is why we use scientific equipment."
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's a direct quote.
That is. That's one of my notes.
Yeah.
And and he says it with such confidence and such zest. And it's like, what are you talking about? yeah, it's a mess. The whole thing's a mess. It doesn't make a lick of sense. It's all just stupid. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this or not. So if anyone listens to this and as a go, just come at me. But it's an Airbnb. It's going to it's an advert for an Airbnb. It's a movie that was shot 44 years ago. There's no
Ouch.
I love it. I love the movie, by the way.
I do too.
It's a movie that was shot, I believe, 44 years ago. There's, from what I understand, no claims of paranormal activity in that house in that whole time until someone else purchases the house and sees a business opportunity.
Right.
And it's nonsense. It's complete and utter nonsense. I'm going to stop talking now before Kenny has a go at me for talking.
Yeah, I would like to say as well, just to back up on that, like, I don't even think that you would have to have that. I mean, if I found out that if I was in the area and the original Poltergeist house was an Airbnb and I had a chance to stay in it,
100%.
Yeah,
I would do. I don't care if it's haunted or not. Like, I would be the goofiest bitch in there. I would hang from like I would put a rope and pretend like I'm getting pulled into the.
Yep.
I would.
Yeah.
It would be the most pictures I've ever taken. Yeah, all over.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I do the same thing. No need to do this grandstand bullshit thing. And I'll try to be real quick here. I agree with everyone, what you guys are saying. You stole what I was going to say, because I found it by the end, and we'll talk about it. I found it to be just a 2-hour commercial for the property. That's it. And just a collection of idiots going into the room, not knowing one iota of what they were fucking doing, and passing it off as an authority, like they knew what they were doing and they were an authority figure in this community, and just pushing absolute nonsense. And there were several times I was screaming at the TV because I was like, that's not right. They're not showing the right equipment, and they're showing results from a different piece of equipment, but making it look like it's from one piece of equipment. I hated it. Don't get me started on the fucking doll. As you can see, after watching this thing twice, I'm really high strung. So I'll leave it at that, and we can get into some of the points from the show. So let's just, I figure we'll just go around. So Tim, if you got, what's your first thing of notes, and we'll just pick from there.
My first thing in the notes was, one, he made an opening statement, a declarative statement of we're investigating a curse. And if you already go into it thinking that it's a curse and you're not really going in to investigate it, you're going in to find reasons to believe it's already a curse. I would have rather liked to have, we're investigating a claim of a curse in this place. But aside from that kind of really bothered me. One of the first things that really popped out at me was the using the deaths of the people after the show, and then trying to insinuate that it was somehow due to them making that movie. And
they gave a timeline.
Yes, they did a timeline
that died, and sadly, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go ahead.
The older daughter in the film,
Mm-hmm.
she was strangled by her boyfriend. Like a month before it opened.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was released, and that was not due to any curse. It was an abusive relationship, but that was it. Like everything else took place years later. It was not anything that happened. Like if you're going to tell me that a movie is cursed, it happens during the movie.
Something. There has to be some type.
It has to be during the movie,
yes.
Not years later. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to actually talk about the young lady that was strangled. The reason she died was because an asshole murdered her, and that's period. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That person is responsible for her death. Period. There's nothing else other than that, and I find it a little bit disrespectful for her and her memory to say that the cause might have been something that she voluntarily engaged in and was by subject possibly, involved in this curse. She had nothing to do with that. She had nothing to do with that.
You don't shift the blame from a murderer. Like,
Yeah, no,
he's
never.
a murderer, as simple as that. Like,
Yeah.
don't try and like find another way around it. It's BS.
Yeah.
Right.
I would hate to be the father of that child and hear that. It would irritate me.
Right.
Other than that, that's going to be my first thing, was just I remember us talking on here about curses before, about people passing away. And, there was I don't know what curse it was. I don't know if it was the tomb, or maybe it was one of the bog people that they had discovered. But there was supposedly this curse on it. And it was 20 some years later that they did the documentary on it. And they talked about, people had died 20 years later after they had handled this corpse. And I was like, God, like, what do you, yeah, I mean, it's 20
Right.
years. Shit
happens.
What's the timeline? Like, where is the timeline of a curse? Like, I think we should at some point establish a timeline of, if you're going to die and it's going to be the curse, it should be, you should, I don't know. But that was mind boggling to me, that they would tie a 20 some year death to what happened 20 years ago when they handled that corpse. And I feel like this is the same type of irrational thinking.
Right. Dave?
So I'll build a little bit from Tim's, and then I'll add something new as moving forward. All the other, the girl who was tragically killed, strangled by her boyfriend, Julian Beck, Heather O'Rourke, which they said mysterious illness. Wrong. You can Google it. They know what it was. It was not mysterious. It's, unfortunate, but it's a disease that happens. Brian Gibson, Lou Perryman. I mean, Lou Perryman was tragically murdered by an axe. That's awful. But two of them were cancer. The other one, Will Sampson, he died after a heart and lung transplant.
Right.
Back in the day, the survival rate of a double transplant is a lot lower than it is today.
Yeah.
And the other two being cancers, if that's the case, then the whole fucking world is affected by this curse out of this house.
Yeah.
So totally ridiculous. So I just wanted to add a little bit more to Tim's thing.
Yeah.
The other one I'll bring up for now is Zach made a statement at one point of reason for access because 3 family members died there. Great. Okay. Has anybody ever reported anything in that house? Anybody seen the ghost of a dead family member? Anything? Zip, nothing, no reports.
Right.
So again, something that at least in the general paranormal community, somebody dying in a location that people attribute a haunting to, as opposed, nobody ever reported anything. So what the heck?
Where's this coming from? Yeah.
Where's it coming from? But no, they keep going back to this curse, which was ridiculous to begin with, because in the beginning, there's the mountain in the back or the hill. That's where the Shomash, that's where they were. Then they bring some Native American 2 individuals in, and they're like, well, yeah, I mean, we don't know if there's any burials here. I mean, there could have been a village here. They moved around. Really don't know. But they pinned everything on that curse, and they pinned it to digging in the backyard in the pool, disturbing the ground, and putting, which they did use real human skeletons in the scene with the pool. They said that upset the sacred ground, and that's what led to the curse. And then somehow they made a ridiculous link later of some dirt in the house that maybe came from the pool that brought the curse into the house. At that point, I'm already at, fuck me. This is unbelievable.
Right.
So the one thing you could have maybe done a little bit more with, and the 3 members died, which they did a little bit. It's the curse. It's the family members. It's the haunted doll with the attachment. What the hell is it? I mean, like you said, Kenny, they were all over the place.
Right.
So that's my first point.
I loved how Zach he kept trying to allude to, this is burial ground. Like, this house is built on burial ground. and he couldn't get the, I want to make sure I get this right, Shumash members to say that.
Mhm.
And he kept asking, it went from this is burial ground to we are on grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are on grounds. And
Yeah.
he says this. He says that the quote is like, where is it? It's this stupid fuck.
It's in my I sent that to you guys because I couldn't believe that shit. He tried to quote the archaeologist as saying,
that
we are on ground.
And they explained to him, like, yeah, the Shumash people were all over this area, and they moved around. So even when Zach was trying to get them to say, yeah, like they lived right here, or this was a burial ground, they kept saying like it could be,
Yeah.
but nothing's confirmed. They didn't know anything. They couldn't give confirmation on that. So you're the foundation that he's basing this off of gone. Like it's just not there. And
I found the quote.
Oh yeah.
It says, I just talked with an archaeologist that validated to me we are standing on grounds.
Yeah, you're standing on the ground. You're not floating. You are standing on ground.
Well done, Zach.
Good job.
Right on.
We
That's
can
the
all
most
agree
accurate
that
thing
you're
he said
standing
the
on
whole
ground.
show.
I will point out that I was pissed because I think you touched on it, Tim, or Dave. I forget which one touched on it, but he's using a tri-field meter, which is not the natural version. It is the one that will read the household current, the mains and stuff like that. And he's like, look, this is why we use scientific equipment, because he's standing in the hallway and he has his phone right there. So he's filming it, and it's the needle's bumping up and down, which you can make it happen. But even that, this is not a scientific experiment. There are no controls. There's no method. He didn't state what he was trying to do. He didn't check around the area.
That was especially offensive considering we wrote and published an entire paper
on it.
I know. When he was walking through that house with that.
And it went from 0.2 to 1.4, 1.5, 1.2. I'm like, whippity-doo.
Big fucking deal.
As you're standing there with cameras, wireless microphones,
lights,
lights, doing this with it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, can we actually talk a little bit about the flashing the light of the room as well?
Yeah,
like that was so funny. Like where they're making out that there's nobody else in the house, and there's this giant flash of light that comes out of the second
floor above the garage. It's later in the episode. Yeah, the light suddenly
just looks like a big studio light to me.
Right.
Like the light color, like just looks like that of what you use to kind of white out someone's face.
It went from a yellow,
or like a bluey kind of. Like, I think it was like it was reflecting the wallpaper or the color of the walls around it to just a very white light.
Yeah, that made because it was a white light. It went from a yellow light that was inside that was probably like a small lamp. That was inside just to have light. And then all of a sudden we get this bright white light, and it's like, all right, well so
they're testing the lights.
It's a studio.
They're making sure the lights work. And Zach and that's not the first time something like that has happened where Zach has been accused of just making the most of when people are setting up equipment or making sure the location is empty or whatever it is. Right. If they're filming at the time, he will use that. And he's done that many times, allegedly. He's done that many times in the past as well.
And I will, to move it forward, I will jump to the next thing saying that I got to calm down because it's pissing me off so much.
Oh, do it.
Plus, we already did a live stream earlier, and I'm still feeling good from that.
I saw that.
So they bring in a psychic, Jill Richard Cook or Jill Cook Richards, who they introduce her as working on the films, and that is incorrect because she worked on Poltergeist number 2. That was it. That's the only credits she has. She was not there for the first film, which included this house that they're at.
Probably the first time she's ever been to that location.
Right. So when they bring her in, completely useless. There's no reason to have her in there, but she's commenting like she did. She's commenting like she was in that house that she worked in, and then that she knew what was going on at the time, and it's complete bullshit. I couldn't.
I
Stand
don't understand why they felt the need to bring in a second psychic. Like, surely we can all agree one's enough. But there's a second psychic, and she offers just the same level of wishy-washy nonsense as the first one. But at least the first one has even the slightest tie to the movie.
Right.
The other one is like, okay.
I passed by here. She lives in the neighborhood because she says that she passed by several times.
I'm guessing she was cheap. I don't know. Like,
whoa.
Not like that. Not like that.
Watch the way you say shit. Oh, all right. What do you got next,
she could be.
Tim? I mean, well,
She could be.
She could be. Yeah.
Going through, you guys got. I hit the uses devices. It's like scientific equipment. Somebody, they started out with someone said it's really heavy in here, dude. And based on the dude, I'm going to say that was
Aaron.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Aaron.
That fiction.
Aaron
movie,
spent most of that episode laughing at Zach.
Yes, he did.
It was. There was one point towards the end, I think, where they're trying to take the spirit box. They're taping it onto the television screen, and somebody hits the unmute button, and it comes out real loud, and they all fall over. And Aaron can be seen on the left side of the screen, like laughing and bending over, laughing.
I mean, to be fair, like that's the point where after they fall over, Zach still kicks out on the floor. He's lying on the floor and he's kicking out towards the TV,
like it's attacking him or something.
Like,
it's like, what are you looking at?
Like,
this word caught my attention in a statement Zach was saying to the indigenous people there. When he was, like you said earlier, like you could feel that he was trying to get them to say, trying to get them to give some type of affirmation that it is a burial ground and it is cursed. But he used the word theorize, and that made me go back. And what he said was, he goes, let's just theorize this could have been a burial ground right here. And then he follows up with, could that be a curse, situation? And I just felt like that felt like desperation at that point when they were talking to him. He was just at some point going, hey, you know what? Since I can't get you to do it, let's just theorize that if this was a place, could it be? Of course, the baseline. He said something about the movie was replaying itself with them in there. So this is like a question. I know this is really strange. This is like with Kenny and different equipment. For me, it's like how you interview people. And so I'm going to read this question. And so if you could imagine, like you're at a site and you're trying to get a history of a place, or you're questioning an eyewitness, which could be just the same thing. So he starts out, and this is with the psychic, the one that said that she had worked there. Okay. And so it goes, you saw Poltergeist 1, did you? Question mark. He didn't let her answer. He said, okay, did you pick up anything from that filming or what you learned later about the real human skeletons? Could you find anything at all they said here at the house? Could that have initiated a curse? And I'm just like, that's so, like, what do you pick out of that? So why would you say you saw Poltergeist 1, right? Yeah. Okay. Did you pick anything up from that filming, which she wasn't there, or what you learned later about the real human skeletons? Well, what do you want? Do you want the filming or the skeletons? And then without even stopping, it's not like even it's a sentence. This is a question. Could you find anything at all? They said they found here at the house, and still a question. Could that have initiated a curse? That's terrible. That's just terrible. That's terrible information getting. I don't know even myself I know this is a pet peeve for me and probably nobody else cares, but that's horrible. Like, that is no way to elicit memory or to get information from somebody. That's bad. I hated that.
I thought that was more just let's hit with questions. Maybe so my reasoning is when he was saying that, he was realizing that she wasn't there on the first filming.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't at the house. And he asked the question and then realized it as he's asking it and said, fuck, I got to follow up. And immediately followed it up with another question that was kind of nonsensical. Like, have you seen the first film? Yeah, she saw the first film. She's here. Like, she probably saw it when they hired her for the second film. Okay. So she knew about it. And then he's just going in like, what did you take from that? Trying to get information. And she, and I'm sorry, I'm going to judge her because of this sparkly blue freaking jacket thing that she had on. Like, she is there for the attention. So of course she's going to say that she got something.
I'm going to judge it on the fact that she is a psychic medium, that she's there for the attention.
Well, right after that I had, and so mine kind of runs with as it plays out in the show. This is the archaeologist that said that they were indeed standing on ground. And then the mysterious locking of the door. Remember that? Dave, I felt your eye roll from over here. They were like, somebody locked the door. We locked ourselves out.
Could this be the ghost keeping us out of the house?
Sending a signal. They're preventing us from discovering the curse.
I wrote here, like, owner smiling too much makes me think she can't keep the secret. Like, that they knew that they locked the door because she was just smiling too much. And granted, I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say that maybe she's not used to being on camera, and people that aren't used to being on camera will tend to smile because they're uncomfortable and they smile and it's an awkward smile. So I don't know if it was that, but I just got the impression like she's in on the joke, but she just can't keep it secret.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. I'll stop at the mysterious locking of the door because that absolutely cracked me up. Like, if I could have blamed every time I locked myself out of the house or apartment and just freaking ghosts.
Sorry, Kat. Yeah, I know, like it. The jacket's okay, but it's just icky. I don't like it. I didn't like. I when I see, and I'm not judging all psychic mediums. Let me say, I don't want to say this. When I see people that claim to be psychic medium and they're wearing flashy stuff and rhinestone stuff, and it's very glitz and glitter, that just sends up red flags to me. And I don't like it because it appears more for show than anything else, and they're flaunting it. So I don't like that, and that's a pet peeve, and that's a bias on my part. So I acknowledge that. There, okay, Dave, what do you got next?
I'll go two quick things to keep building on the story of the dirt and the pool and the potential burials. There was at one point where Aaron states, I put a mint in my mouth and I tasted dirt and I felt like I was being buried. And then he made the statement of at that same time, the equipment flatlined. I'm like, okay, so that's probably a great example of being totally primed and conditioned. Either he was, or he's using it to continue to build the story. It could be both. So that one that was pretty unbelievable. And then as they're investigating, they keep saying Carol Ann. Why in the hell are you saying Carol Ann if you're talking about Heather O'Rourke or the family members?
Right.
Why are you doing that? To me, it's like they're mixing, and the whole focus on the TV, which it was, to me, it's nothing more than a white noise generator. But you're talking to the TV like there's somebody in there. So
it's not the same TV.
They're blending the movie with what they're trying to do with the supposed haunting from the curse.
Right.
Like the actual
I've seen that being done before, though. I remember when Sam, I know we're talking about a different channel, but just want to quick, it just reminds me of when Sam and Colby went to the Stanley Hotel and they saw like someone graffitied red rum.
Oh yeah.
And so the Stanley Hotel being the Shining movie,
Setting,
the same for
yeah.
the Shining movie, and someone just graffitied red rum, and they were freaking out. And I'm like, it's graffiti.
It's graffiti.
It's graffiti from a fictional movie,
Right.
a famous scene in a fictional movie. Like, how could you conflate that with any real paranormal activity?
That wasn't even filmed there.
Is it just the outside? Yeah, then
It's
the
just the
inside might
outside,
be somewhere
yeah.
different. Yeah.
And so we actually were chatting about the Aaron scene and just Aaron in general. We were talking about him earlier today on the way back from the falls.
The story topper.
Yeah, that it's always about, it's when Aaron needs some attention. So he feels like he's being overshadowed, and he needs attention. So he does something to make sure people notice him, and he over exaggerates something. And there's a pattern because
almost immediately after, Zach will story top him.
Yes,
because Zach cannot handle not being the center of attention. He can't handle the episode not being revolved around him in some way. So, like, a brilliant example of that is the Goatman Bridge, where like Aaron claims that some demonic force pushed him so far and launched him several feet up in the air, and you think that would be ridiculous enough for a Ghost Adventures episode, but no, then Zach makes out shortly after that he's getting strangled by this ghost, and he's screaming and he's like crying, and all the rest of the cast and crew are like trying to pull his own hands away from his neck, and that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for I believe that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Aaron already making an outrageous claim and screaming and crying about it, and he was being very dramatic. Then shortly after, Zach's like, no, this is my show.
My show.
I'm Zach Bagans. I'll show you how it's done.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with that you just described is why the hell did they stop him from strangling himself the whole way?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Guarantee it will stop. Don't worry. He's going to realize.
Just sit back and enjoy it.
No one's going to stop me. Okay. The demon just left me. That's how it's going to end. Don't worry about it. All right, so I got, let's see, I'm checking off things because I got so many. Oh, shit. Zach freaking uses a DR60. He has his DR60 recorder, and he's using it several times. And we know, like, I mean, I've done a lot. I wrote a really good article, at least I think it was good, on this, and really detailed it. We know that it's voice activated. It doesn't continuously record. And the first time he's using it, he's listening to to Jill Cook, the psychic, and she's talking about being in this room, and I feel somebody's in this room. And as she's talking, when she pauses, he's repeating something. He's like, "Oh yeah, yes." And then she goes into something.
Dead. Did it say dead?
Well, yeah.
She said dead, and then he went dead. Something like that, like repeating what she said.
That's what I'm thinking. But when you watch the clip, because they replay the DR60 recording, they hear it and they're like, "Oh my god, it said dead" after she said it. They replay that clip. But if you go back to the original part, the audio cuts out. As soon as she stops talking, the audio stops. And it's like they cut him out. They edited him out of saying that, and now you're hearing his voice on the recorder. It
sounds like Zach saying
it does.
They're making out it's some otherworldly creature, being or whatever, saying that word. It sounds like Zach's voice saying dead. That's the weirdest part for me. It's like the first time I heard it, I'm like, that's Zach talking.
Yeah, same here.
Right.
I heard that and I was like, all right, that's him. They're really saying it's not him. Okay, whatever, bitch. I hate him so much. So I got that. And then I'm sure Dave is going to love this. The isolated video loop.
Oh, yeah. That's on there. I've got that somewhere way back here.
Where they use a projector to put this looks like a Windows 95 screensaver up on a screen, and then they're filming it with another video camera, and they're calling that an isolated video loop. I don't think they know what isolated means, because it's certainly not isolated. Because it's not isolated from anything. You can easily go in front of the projector, which you can see in the episode several times. They block the projector, or they walk in front of it, or they're leaning in front of it, and it blocks the projection. Pretty simple. It's just I don't know what the purpose of that is, except to create video artifacts.
Yeah, I'm not. Really, I have no idea where they got that from. I mean, maybe there's somebody out there that's said something about it. I don't know. At first, I thought they were going to at least point it at the TV and do the whole ITC closed loop system and see if they get images. Then I saw that thing on the wall, which you described very well as the Windows logo. I'm like, what are they doing? And then when they did something with, I think it was a frequency they introduced at one point, and then you saw some dark object, which looked rather interesting, come up and poke the middle of it, and they're like, "Oh, it's like the yolk of an egg running out." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
I honestly have no idea what the hell they were talking about.
I didn't understand any of that bit. It just didn't make any sense to me. I didn't get it at all. I don't know what they were trying to achieve with any of that. It just didn't make any sense.
I looked at it and I was like, well, all right, so he's got like a stick or something that he's putting in front of the projector. That's all I see.
Dildo bag and strikes again.
Yeah,
object.
It was just ridiculous.
I had something on this for that, and for some reason I sent it to you guys, but I didn't put it on my notes. It's when the gentleman, I don't know his name, when he explains the video feedback. I wanted to say, so Zach would often look at him and say, explain this.
Billy. That's Billy.
And this is when I told Dave, I had to go back and make sure I heard this, and I heard it. And I was like, I still feel like I got that wrong. I went back and so this is the explanation. In this ITC experiment, we've set up a camera loop that sometimes gives us some sort of results. That was it. And I was like, you know what? You're not wrong, but you're not accurate on anything with it either.
Hold on. Let me get a handful of dice here. Sometimes it gives me a number one. Sometimes it doesn't. Let me roll again. Nope. No. That is
that's ghost hunting in a nutshell, though, isn't it?
I'm going to go back to my original opening statement and say, this is the good example of a bunch of idiots that go into a house claiming to know what they're doing, and they have no clue. Because he also talks about, because Zach's like, explain what ITC is.
I got that in my notes, yeah.
And he said, I don't know the exact. Do you have the exact quote?
Something
about
have ITC. You use devices to use the electric magnetic field to communicate with those devices. You use devices to use the electric magnetic field to communicate with those devices. And I have a great big what the fuck right beside it.
Yeah.
So that might not be the exact quote, but that's another one I went back and was like, he's like, explain ITC. And you can kind of see, he's like, oh shit. Yeah, okay. And he's like, you use ITCs, you use devices to use the electric magnetic field to communicate with these devices.
Total word salad. No idea what he's fucking saying.
Why do they keep these moments in the episode? It blows my mind. It's because they just don't. They don't.
I'm torn. So I'm torn with that. One side of me thinks they really believe the bullshit that they're putting out,
or they really have no respect for their audience whatsoever.
Yeah, they're thinking you're watching, and you stupid fucks are going to believe anything that we say.
Pretty much.
That's what I'm really starting to lean to because
That's where I'm going with it.
it's sad. It's so sad.
So if we're on EVPs and ITC, normally they just hear something and tell you what it is, which it's usually unintelligible to begin with. This time, they had something that was totally unintelligible to the point they wouldn't even make a guess at it. But then they said, could it be Native American words?
Oh yes.
I'm like, why don't you ask the people you had there before?
Yeah.
Or ask anybody. It's just like you're trying to, again, prime example, building upon the story that they created in the beginning.
Right.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand it. It could be Native American, but we're sure in hell not going to ask the people we had here before that were Native American.
And they get through like 3/4 of the show and they stop it. They go back to Vegas and they recreate, they do another segment. So why did they not contact the representatives that they had and say, hey, does this make any sense to you?
Or did they? And they said,
nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, like the only time you're ever going to hear about anything, I do think they go back to these because to some of these people, because you do hear every now and then when it reaffirms their made up narrative,
right?
They will include it.
They'll include it.
Yes,
but if it doesn't,
they leave it out.
They leave it out.
They just leave it as, oh, could it be this, and on to the next bit.
Yeah,
I'm concerned that the representatives went back and they were told, don't fucking do that again. Like, don't work with him, don't go to him.
What was the not the priest, the one that was, they were doing it live and he
the
in.
rabbi.
The rabbi at Zach's museum.
House one.
That was when they were talking about the Dybbuk box.
That's right.
Oh, the Dybbuk box. You're right.
And the rabbi let slip that it doesn't fit your script.
This is nothing. I know you don't like that, but I know it doesn't fit your script.
Right.
And he's like, let me show you the way out.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so pissed. And on live TV too. That was
awesome.
Can we talk about that extra? I'm not sure if it's too soon yet, but the bit where you mentioned earlier, like they went to like the next segment, and they were like, "We're inside what looks to be like the TV," and you're like, "What? How would this be a representation of inside TV?" And then they get that, what's her name, the psychic lady, Jill Cook, and go, "What does this look like, Jill?" She goes, "Oh, it looks like we're inside a TV." You told her to say that.
What about that? That doesn't look like my TV. It doesn't look like any TV I've had.
It just looks like inside a studio. You just made this like little light show of a studio, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But why do you keep trying to push this inside a TV thing? Other than again trying to conflate their made up, fiction with the movie fiction.
With Steven Spielberg's made up fiction.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't connect with Steven Spielberg, even though he's still alive.
Maybe that was his voice.
Maybe it was E.T. Who the hell knows?
All right. I'm gonna jump to cameras.
Okay.
So because I wanna touch on this because I have props for this and I'm really upset about this.
I got a quote about the cameras. So this
the cameras specifically that I'm talking about is they reference Polaroid cameras during the show, and you see several scenes where Aaron is walking around with this camera. Okay, and I recognized it because I was like, I have it in my collection. Great, walk around. This is a Fujifilm Instax wide 300. That's the exact one that he's using on the show. It takes wide format instant film. Okay. So I want to show you a comparison. This is a cartridge from a regular Polaroid camera. Okay. And this is one from a wide format. When you put them together, you can see that there's much, much more. So you get basically a widescreen look at a Polaroid camera. And then a regular Polaroid camera has the square format. So he's going around. He shows us a few pictures at the beginning when they were playing with the EMF meter that they don't know how to read. And there's some blue light on it. That could be anything from a reflection or a lens flare, because there was a lamp directly above them.
The blue light. Yeah.
Right.
I knew that you were going to love that.
And when they turn this on, I mean, your lens extends out, and you can easily get lens flare on this camera. However, at the end of the show, they show you a different Polaroid image that has these light streaks on them. And they're like, look, we got this anomaly, and we don't know where it came from. I bring it up because I recently watched the other episode with the Houdini seance, and they did the same thing. They show you this camera, and they show you these other light streaking images, okay? This cannot take a long exposure photograph. It can't do it. It's just not capable of it. And that's what we're looking at. The light streaks are from a long exposure, and it's called light painting. What you don't realize is that when you keep watching closer on the show, they're using a different Polaroid camera. This one. This is a modern. This is a Polaroid Now Plus camera. It's exactly what they use. I was able to get screenshots where you see the front of it and the back of it. I know exactly what they were using. This camera connects to your phone, and it takes regular Polaroid pictures. But the really cool thing is that when you connect it to your phone, you get other options. Okay. And that also includes doing things like, I'm going to show you guys on camera so you can see. So you can do a remote picture, double exposure. It tells you exactly how to do it. Aperture, tripod, portrait, light painting. It actually tells you exactly how to do light painting photos using your camera's flash and other lights. It actually tells you down here to use other lights in the area to paint light lines in your photograph. And then the last option I want to show you is manual control. This actually lets me change the shutter speed or exposure time up to, let me see, that's 30 seconds. Let me see. There you go. 30 seconds. It'll keep the shutter open. Or if I go up a little bit more, that says, let me see, bulb. And that means the shutter will stay open until you tell it to close. So I can have this taking a picture, walk around a dark room like this, paint lights all over it, and then stop it, and it will give me a photograph exactly what you see on the episodes. Piss me to fuck off, because you have to use your phone. This is not by accident. You deliberately have to set that. So this is not an accident. This is not by mistake. This was a deliberate hoax. And it really pisses me off. So there, I'm done.
Well, after the images were shown, he does this quick little thing where he says, while these photos are interesting, I'm still not fully convinced they are paranormal in nature. And I was like, yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, you know why.
It was like this little subtle, like, we have to put in some type of skepticism, so I'm going to add it here. And I don't know if you hit it yet, but the psychic that at the end, when they reviewed, she had the square on her chest.
Oh, yes.
I know that. I figured you'll have that too.
Yeah, we have that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can touch on it now. I mean, that was basically it's called lens flare.
Lens flare.
Yeah.
So if you look, they show a picture. The psychic Jill, she says, "Yeah, I took this picture with my phone," and she's in the living room. The old TV is in the background, and she's pointing at it, and the screen's on, and there's a double image of that screen, like on her body. If you look at that picture, her shadow is coming from the TV. So the shadow's in front of her.
It's in front of her.
Yeah, it's in front of her going towards the camera. when
and
they
all the other photos. Sorry.
yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right. I know you're excited. Okay. But yeah, when they show the comparison photos, and they're like, I don't know why this would happen or how this could happen. The comparison photos have two other things. One, the flash was used on the camera, so now you have light coming from the front, but they also have a different light on in the front, in front of her, because when you look at their shadows, they're going behind them now. And they do show them side by side, and it's like, this is ridiculous. You got shadows coming towards the camera, and then all the other shadows are going away from the camera. Completely different aspect. So yeah, that pissed me off too. Thanks, Tim.
I know. You're welcome. This whole time we were like, who the hell came up with this idea? And we all agreed it was Kenny. So
all right. What else you got, Tim?
I'll just kind of bring up just a little bit of a pet peeve, and I just think it was my personal taste. They brought the child that passed away. They brought her doll.
Oh yeah,
and I just don't think. I mean, maybe if you wanted to do something more exclusive and might I even say ethical, like it just feels like confidential. Like I wouldn't have like put that on the show. You know, it's just going back to like family members or you know, like, and then it was just this whole theatrics of I have a certificate signed by the mom that this is the doll that she played with. I'm like, did you have to really do that? Like, it just felt, to me, it just felt bad. And maybe some other people don't. I'm not opposed to testing claims of trigger devices. I'm not, but I wouldn't hold up a trigger device and say gleefully and very proudly, like this came from the home of a murdered child that everybody knows. Am I making sense? Like that just felt bad to me. Like
poor taste.
It is bad form is what it was. I really didn't like that. Plus, how are you going to tie that to the house anyway? Unless that was in the house, you know, it's like just bringing socks from her house. You know, this is socks that she wore. Like, why is that a trigger object and something that she wore not a trigger?
Yeah, it's an object that actually has no tie to the house at all. It's never been in the house before.
Yes,
it's an object tied to a little girl who at a very young age would have probably been filming in that house for, I don't know, let's say 2 to 3 months. I don't know, maybe longer, maybe shorter. I don't know. Of her life, and I don't understand how any of that can trigger, like how the house and the doll can trigger each other to spur kind of paranormal activity. It is in bad taste, which is very Zach Bagans, very Ghost Adventures in general. A lot of it, what he does and how the episodes go is in bad taste. It's just another Zach Bagans moments there.
And so I'll just, after that, I'll do the second one I had after that. And we kind of laughed at this was I tried to get the time 35:24 when it's right after that. He says, by no means are we saying this curse had anything to do with the deaths of hers, meaning the child, or any of the other actors and actresses of the films.
Bullshit.
And I'm like, yeah, bullshit. Like you are implying it.
But in the beginning.
Yeah, and I think that's where all these are these, could this, does this, might this have been, could this, another one. Like I ended up with like 17 of, it feels like 17 legally protective claims that are not really claims, but just enough to make you think that they're claims. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
Didn't they? With the return of Jill, when she returned at the end, she claimed that there was a spirit of one of the actors in that clown doll.
In the clown, yeah.
But they don't know which one.
Oh, and that is
like it was blocked from doing that. Like
Makes perfect sense.
You were sitting there going,
I was like, why don't we have the name? Oh yeah, because we can verify that. And
Right.
the psychic's like, oh Christ, I better not give any names out here.
yeah, you don't want to give
Because
out.
I don't remember the names of the actors that died.
Right. So I'm going to comment on the doll,
Yes.
and specifically the
Yes.
doll falling.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. So real simple. I mean, as soon as they brought it in and he put it on the shelf, I think we all were like, yeah, that's going to move.
Just a matter of time.
It's just
100%.
going to move. However, when it did fall by itself, looking closely, the doll was repositioned. So when they set it up in the beginning, they actually set it up leaning against the
It's
support,
like the
the
inside
pole.
of the arm is against the on the
I don't know
shoulder.
what you call it. The
frame.
frame. Yeah. The frame going up and down. So they lean it against that pole. But when it falls, they have the outside shot from the hallway, and you can see that there is at least 2 to 3 inches that it's away from that pole. So at some point, and you notice that the feet.
The feet, 1 foot is a little bit higher than the other, and I thought the head was tilted down.
Forward. Yeah.
So it's a bit more now front heavy,
Right.
which is what they want it to be.
So they moved it. Somebody moved it right before
And they
fell.
made sure that the angle, the original angle where you see it, where it's kind of resting against the frame resting against the shoulder, is from one angle, and every time you see it when it's repositioned, it's from a different angle to try and throw you off a little bit, so you don't put the two together.
Right.
But if you got to look a bit closely, but yeah, you can definitely see it's been repositioned.
My wife Jen caught that right away too. She's like, "Oh, it's been repositioned. It's been repositioned." I'm like, "Yep, good catch."
I saw it and I was like, wait a minute, that's not where they put it. And Donna's like, you think? And I went back. I went all the way back. She's like, well, yeah, son of a bitch. Look at that. It's leaning and go against the support. I'm like, yeah, they fucking. Oh my god. All right. I want anything else? So I have doll falling off.
I have a couple more things, but they're just probably easy.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple.
But I haven't. I don't know if Dave has.
I think you guys covered all for the most of it. The major stuff, I think we covered all of it actually.
Yeah.
Can I just mention like the really, really, really funny delivery when Zach shouts hello made me laugh, and they replayed it over and over again, where they're saying like hello goes hello. I don't know, just really
From
made
the
me
TV.
laugh.
Yeah. Hello.
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 So,
oh my god, that was funny.
It's amazing.
I do have a legitimate question because I didn't look it up. There was a quote that said, anger is said to have a frequency of 150 hertz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, like, for some reason, that feels like, I don't want to be like, bullshit, because I feel like that's a day of going, well, actually, there's 2 papers. I was like, so I was going to like, is there an idea? And then the next, the God frequency is 936 hertz. And I've not heard of either one of those, that anger has a frequency. So that's what they were using. So I would throw that out to you guys or anybody else that's
don't know.
He's looking at it now.
Might as well Google it.
We'll do that.
And then after that, the last note was the beautiful orbs as evidence.
Oh yeah. So I do have I have the 150 hertz.
Doesn't look like
and
it.
they also said that it opens portals and manifestations. It will do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, nothing. And then all of a sudden, I think Dave, you mentioned it goes up to a 936 hertz.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Without any explanation. I just, at least that I didn't see any explanation. It just all of a sudden now they're at 936.
Yeah, and I think isn't it when they changed the 936? That's when the little thing on the wall they had that object that went into it. I
actually I started writing 936 hertz. I seriously don't even care anymore. I'm so done. Yeah, this 150 hertz.
So it talks about bass.
Yeah. I don't see anything. It's a test tone.
For anger, I don't.
Sine wave. Yeah, you can download the tone.
Can we all hear it?
Let me see. I can hear it.
It's going to make me angry.
So hold on. Let me share this and see if you guys.
Yeah, 150 hertz. Anger.
I'll share audio tab. Share. Here we go.
I mean, it's not very pleasant to listen to. I don't know if it's making me angry. I just strangled you, I guess.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's kind of relaxing.
So the one thing I found real quick, 150 hertz refers to a specific frequency or rate of vibration commonly used in applications like muscle strengthening through vibration therapy.
Yeah.
Brain activity, high frequency gamma activation, including frequencies between 80 and 150 hertz, is increased in the human brain during periods of focused attention.
Yep.
I've never heard of it causing anger, though.
No, right off the bat. Yeah, I'm the same way. Some sources use 150 hertz for grounding or relaxation purposes,
So
potentially in sound therapy. It reminds me of one of the bells, like when you hit the bell.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it sounds like.
No idea.
Oh, other frequencies like 963 are often associated with God. Let me see that. Oh, it's
It was
from
936 hertz, right?
Yeah.
963.
No, I have 936.
I had 930.
Wait. Yeah,
That one they're saying, I think.
Yeah, I have 936, but here
something with the pineal gland and binaural beats. I think that's the only thing that I've ever. But I don't know if it's 936 or 963. I don't know.
Well, other frequencies on that search, it just says 963 are often associated with God. So I wonder if Zach got it wrong or
it looks like it's like a metaphysical stuff because I'm seeing it says 936 associated with spiritual and energetic benefits in music and sound therapy.
The pineal gland,
yeah,
supposedly raising consciousness, binaural beats. It's
also called the third eye, which is yeah. So I don't know what they're doing here, except that they don't know what they're doing.
It can supposedly activate your chakra.
Ooh, I mean, maybe that's the tingling I felt in my balls. Sorry.
Honestly, I would go get that checked.
I'm not used to having somebody next to me.
You might want to move a foot further away from him. At the moment.
Maybe the next building. I am. I can't go much further. I'm in trouble. I need an adult.
That frequency touched me in a place that's not safe.
Tim, actually, I think you commented in our chat over the last day or so when Zach's like, oh, something happened. He's like, I quickly grabbed my ovilus and ran in there. Like, okay.
Another piece of fine scientific equipment.
The misty anomalies, which were just dust orbs. That he specifically states that's not dust.
Oh no, he said bug, didn't he?
That's not bugs. That's not dust.
He's pretty definitive about that. And one of them where he zoomed in, it sure looked like a bug because you could see the solid body and then the shape, the wings, like they would look with the fluttering of the wings as they're.
I'll never forget one of the videos I did on Ghost. Actually, the last video I did on Ghost Adventures, he does this really funny moment where he says this. He's like, he shows clearly a bug. You can even see it fluttering. And he goes like, we debunked this as not being any kind of bug or dust, and then moves on. Doesn't give us any of his reasoning, any argument on why it's not that. He just says, but he made sure he used the word debunked, which annoyed the hell out of me.
Which he didn't make the claim in the first place, so you're not debunking a claim that wasn't made. He's such an idiot. Such an idiot. All right. I Oh, the hellos.
Hello,
The one guy who we now know is Billy. Because I'm
Billy J. I'm
unfortunately,
just calling them the same. Billy J. It's the
like,
same thing.
Zach and Aaron, I know. Aaron, I'm just getting to know. And then the other two guys I kept calling NPCs because I didn't know what their names were.
They're just there.
They're just there. And I'm not that sounds mean, but they're just there and they're forgettable. So I didn't really care. But then I wrote down at least one of their names. But he says something about the hellos being crystal clear. Like crystal clear. And I wasn't hearing shit. Like
there you go. You can test that one. Let's take that clip out, send it to a bunch of people, and see if they come up with hello.
I have a was that clip that I mentioned in that one? I don't want to say it, but there was a clip that I clearly heard another word. I want to use that one.
Yeah, use that one and see what you get.
We can use that. Yeah,
We'll
put
use
it in for a test show.
Yeah,
and we play EVPs for people. Yeah.
We're due for round 3 of that.
We are due for round 3. It is time.
I think the last one I really want to. Well, there's 2 things I have. One is there was like a sound that they hear. Zach goes up into the back room where the doll is by himself, and he goes into the corner out of view of the camera, and there's a mechanical sound, and it sounds like a toy or something like that. And he's like, "That it must have come as if from an interdimensional doorway."
I put that down.
Like what?
I thought it sounded like a children's doll. Like I'm not saying doll that fell off, but that's what it just sounded like a childlike,
like toy or something like that. Yeah, and because he's off camera, I don't see what he's doing, and that makes me suspect, especially because the 2 guys downstairs didn't hear anything, and the only reason the guy at the nerve center heard it was because there's a microphone, and he heard it through the microphone. So it was in Zach's room with Zach, and I'm gonna say that it was Zach. And then the last thing is, the baby monitors that they kept saying that they heard little girl voices, and it was so disgusting that he's talking through the speaker and they're getting all these little like bumps and stuff, and he's saying, I've had baby monitors, and I think
they pick up stray signals, for Christ's sake.
Stray signals, and the mics are so hot on those monitors.
Yep.
My wife said it best. She's like, if your baby farts, you hear it. That's how sensitive they are. And that's the truth. They're so sensitive. So I wouldn't rely on that for any kind of scientific research, because it's
now you're going to see baby monitors being resold as devices for about $400.
We should corner the market on that and just buy them up now and just put a sticker over the manufacturer label.
Buy the baby Bagans monitor. $2.99.
Ghost detectors.
These aren't any baby monitors for
These are Bagan baby monitors.
These are ghost hunting baby monitors.
They are priced to sell because they're scientific.
So the whole thing with the baby monitors was an issue for me to begin with, as with the budget that you have to the access of the equipment that you have. Why did you pick baby monitors?
Because they spent all their money on Polaroid film. That shit's expensive, dude.
I certainly don't spend it on researchers.
Yeah. So that's all I got. That's all I cared to have, and I think we're good.
Yeah.
It's way more than I thought.
Yeah.
So overall, pretty good episode, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was
You all
great.
liked it, yeah.
It was great. I know. Let's see. I know we had 2 questions. Let's put them up real quick and just see. Why would putting human remains, skeletons in the ground upset the sacred ground, and not having a flipping swimming pool be disrespectful?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or having a house built with, I'm going to assume, the proper plumbing and sewage that's going to dig through the same dirt.
Well, if you really want to kind of like, I don't know, just don't want to get too political on this, but just a whole settlement, a gentrified area in general.
Mhm.
like to those Native Americans, like especially Native Americans, you know, that are not from today, but way back when.
Yeah.
They're going to see that all as disrespect. Surely they'll see that as some ugly concrete jungle and making a mess of Mother Nature. And
Right.
there's like 1,000 ways to interpret that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the point. That's a good point. I think it's exactly, and you can use your own interpretation to fit your narrative too.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I mean, we did talk about the human remains. We got into that on another episode, and I did have I forget what it was from, the court case where the prop guy from the movie was on. He was giving testimony, and I think it was more about like the devil made me do it case or something that we were talking about, and it just coincided with that. But the prop guy said, yeah, we used real skeletons. That's a common thing. It is a common thing in movies because they get them from medical companies. It's not like they dig them up and get them themselves. They're certified. They come from medical biological companies, and they were used. They have makeup on them. So I don't see what the problem was. It's a common practice, and I think it's just that story. It's probably one of those movie facts that most people didn't know, especially at the time. So when it was associated with, especially because it was a horror movie, supernatural horror, it added more intense, like an intense nature to it, and said, oh, look, this scary film used real skeletons. Oh my gosh. And it's cursed, and all this happens, and it must be the skeletons.
It's a particularly memorable scene in the movie as well, isn't it? It's like it's a really grotesque, horrible, uncomfortable scene in the movie.
Yeah.
So, and just goes to show what a great movie it is in many ways, because, like, you know, I think people kind of going like to think that the actress going through that was actually having real skeletons on them, and the intensity of the scene just, I don't know, adds that bit more.
It's dark,
drums up a bit more drama for the whole
yeah.
thing. Like it's not like a scene where there's just they're laying in a crypt as she's walking around.
Right.
It's like they're all there's mud and they're literally grabbing on top of her and the mouths are open. It's really ugh.
So I have a really bad thought that just crossed my mind. So I'm going to have to say some Hail Marys, but I could imagine going to a psychic as one of those bodies before they died, and said, "Psychic, I really want to make it big in the movies. Am I going to do it?" And the psychic says, "Well, I have good news and I have bad news. You're going to be famous,
but
you're dead.
And you ain't going to get credited for shit.
No, you're not going to get shit."
All right. And then the last question we have, Mark's Random Curiosities. With regards to EMF and ghosts, what is the thought process on proving a ghost with EMF spikes? Is there anything at all in this level of thought?
No.
That's Dave.
No.
Well, this comes up a couple times every year throughout our show. And actually, somebody's actually, Dr. Leo Ruckaby has tracked down a possibility. The idea that electromagnetism might be involved in paranormal phenomena can be traced back to the 1870s. And the researches of Dr. Francis Gary Fairfield. Basically, somebody had an experience. He claims he put a horseshoe magnet into the apparition, and it led to convulsions. So that was the first one. And then you get into the work that was done by Michael Persinger with the God helmet. And then in, 1976, Peter Underwood, when they did some of the stuff with the Borley Church, they had magnometers there, electrofield measuring devices, and then EMF meters were used in most haunted. And then there's everything with the TV shows and other stuff like that. There's back and forth. There's the one idea that EMFs cause you to have experiences. They might mess with your brain. Or EMFs, ghosts feed off of EMFs and can manifest that way, or ghosts are made of EMFs and they can be detected that way. Nobody knows. There's actually, which some people find surprising, there's a lot of academic research that's been done on this. There's actually scientists that have gone out, measured EMFs. There's way more than a half dozen publications on it. What they're finding is in areas where people have experiences versus control locations in the same environment, in the same building or location, the mean and the variance in areas where they find people have had experience is much higher than where they don't. The other thing they've found is that there's 2 papers that are showing recent within the last, well, recent now is 5 to 10 years compared to some of the older stuff, but very detailed high-speed data logging has shown that there might be what they call a suppression or an expansion in the number of spikes in the electromagnetic field before there's a paranormal experience. But they're not saying it's due to the ghost. It could just be something in the environment that's wonky. It might be affecting your perception. It might be affecting the objects in the environment. We did a paper, was that last year, year before that, 23, I think it came out.
23, yeah.
And the argument is there's differences in the electromagnetic fields mean and variance in haunted locations versus control locations within that haunted location. Our paper, we just monitored electromagnetic fields in a location where nobody's ever reported anything. And we saw very similar means and variances that they've pointed out that could be in the haunted locations. However, the amount of deviation or the number of spikes that you find on and this gets technical, if you look at a bell curve, a distribution, the number of spikes that are plus or minus 2.5 to 3 standard deviations, there's still more of them in these supposed haunted locations versus what we found. So they don't know. That's the bottom line. They don't know. There's a lot of research. They don't know. It's still an active area of study, but do people who seriously study it think that there's ghosts causing it or ghosts feeding off of it? They don't say that. They just say there's something different in these environments, but it might not be as different as they thought based on the stuff we did.
Yeah.
So.
And in relation to like the TV show and like what we're talking about tonight, there's what we see tonight in this ghost hunting show and other ghost hunting shows. When they use these meters, they're not using them correctly. First and foremost,
for what they're finding in the research, what they're using in the TV shows are completely useless. You need something that's sampling minimum 1 sample per second. Typically, you want to see more of that 10, 100, 250 samples a second, and you have to data log it, and you have to do advanced statistics on it.
Right.
Which
right.
I'll do for a small fee.
Yeah.
Probably twice, because just like you took the class.
I had statistics twice in college.
Anyway, it's an interesting field to study, but the fact that ghosts cause them, or their ghosts are manipulating or using them to manifest.
Right.
There's nothing there that says that.
Yeah. All right. Oh, wait, we have one more. Cool. Let's see what we got. Apparently, phone masks are supposed to affect people's brain patterns. Is there any proof of this? Phone masts.
Like cell towers?
Is that...
What's a phone mast?
Yeah. To Google.
Mast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cell towers. Okay.
Okay. I feel like there's been a lot of studies on this.
I
Honestly,
don't
the
know.
jury's still out on that as well.
Yeah. I think, because we do have people that still live by these towers, and we don't see like crazy experiences being reported or anything like that, at least from these people. I think there's studies done, and it goes back and forth how EMF can affect people from a health perspective. And I usually go to the World Health Organization and look at the research they do.
Some studies say they do, some studies say they don't, and it's typically alterations in, is it brain chemistry or the electric activity in the brain?
Right.
But then some say they don't.
Right.
Are you saying you can buy them?
You can
Are
buy
they for
them?
sale? Is that what's that? Why does it say $5 and one says $1,500?
Cell phone antenna tower kit.
Is it like a model? Are they models?
Oh, it looks like a model. Trains and toys. Oh yeah. It's
Oh,
for,
all right.
it's for-
But they don't look like models. At the
Stop
top.
distracting me.
No, they don't look like models. At the top. What's that? Is that a model?
$5 phone
I mean,
mast.
$5. It's got to be.
That's a poster. Fine art.
Oh,
Fine arts. Science photo
so
library.
that's a real one for 15 grand.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That looks like a real one. Cell phone
Wow, people buy that.
mobile antenna. Yeah. That's pretty big too. Holy shit.
Wow.
It's worth 15,000. Okay.
Okay.
How tall is it?
It's tall.
Tall enough.
I'll show you. Yeah. This one.
Oh shit! It's one of those.
Yeah. That's big. Look at that.
That's a big. Okay, we can figure out something to do with this.
I like that one. That's cool.
Oh, how much is that? Let's go pop down and get it.
We'll send an inquiry. Chat now. How much? Quantity 1.
No shit, one.
1,500.
It's a bit soft. It is like, oh, we got 55 to sell.
Okay. All right. I'm buying shit.
I've learned something new tonight. I didn't know you could buy those.
Donna's like, do not hit buy.
I was just thinking, Donna, when a 80-foot antenna shows up on the back of a flatbed for you.
Oh shit.
You can pick up God with that.
Yeah. Aliens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Closing thoughts. Let's go around the table, give our closing thoughts, and wrap this up. So, Tim, you're up on board first.
I'm not surprised at the way this went at all. I take that back. Of the few that I've watched, I don't know which one said it, but this one is like, it seemed worse than any of the other ones I've watched. It feels reaching. It feels, I didn't really mark it down, but someone else had mentioned, I think it was Side Eye, that said like the first 30, 35, 40 minutes were just fluff. It's just bringing people in, like, this thing about being in an investigation looks like you would focus on the investigation and the data that you collected and the history that you found and the research that you did. It just felt like there was a lot of priming getting ready for this show. So honestly, like, it wasn't anything greater than what I expected it to be. I don't know if that's fair, but I gave it a shot. But it fell exactly. Now, on the flip side, I had a great time writing and reading you guys' responses as we were watching the show together. It was a lot of fun. I would have given good money to watch Dave watch that show. There was more cuss words in the chat than there's been in a long time.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's always fun. That's so much fun. All right. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, even for Ghost Adventures, this was bad. They dove right in with the Native American thing, the sacred ground, the curse, and then they built a story continuously around that. But then, as Tim said during the show, later on, they kind of tried to renege on that story, that we didn't really say that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they got into confusing what the movie plot was, like that really happened at the house, to what they were looking into, which crazy, so many crazy things that went on. But the fact that there were no reports of paranormal activity at that location prior to them going there tells me that if they went into a house that somebody told them, let's say you didn't tell them if it was haunted or not, but there was no reports of anything. They went in there, they would find stuff, which tells me their methods are flawed, their interpretation is flawed, and it's 100% purely entertainment, and that's it.
Right. I found it to be a same as what I said in the beginning. This was a 2-hour advertisement for a new Airbnb, which didn't need to be. It was free advertising. That's likely why they did it. Because the owner was there. She was happy throughout the entire
She's
thing.
loving it. Yeah.
Not worried about her business. Not worried about living there. Because according to the report that I saw, she plans on living there and operating it as an Airbnb. So there was no fear whatsoever. She was happy as shit that this was going on. And I think that's just very telling.
I liked it. Can I just say, I liked it at the end when they were like they were like reviewing their evidence to everyone, and she must have said she got goosebumps like 3 times.
Yes.
Oh, I got goosebumps again.
Yeah.
And again.
She was excited.
And again. And I'm like, okay, calm down. Love.
She's seen dollar every time. She's seen dollar signs.
Yeah, ching goosebumps.
Yeah.
Ching goosebumps.
I agree that the methodology sucked monkey butt. It was just horrible. And it just shows time and again, like it's been a while since I watched one of his episodes. And I was so angry at the amount of stupid piled up in one room. And again, like I went on a rant a couple days ago when I watched the Houdini episode, the Houdini seance thing. And I do not like using the word stupid. I really don't. But there's no other way to describe it. It's sometimes I think it's just flat out ignorance. And other times I think it's deliberate stupidity because they are exploiting their audience. Go ahead.
Based on that stupid, this sounds like a good segue. I missed one. And this was really another moment. So I just want to share this before we go. I'm sorry. So he starts out, he said, this is a quote, we set up a microphone to the TV speaker for voices. This is where she heard the voices and replied, I don't know to the TV. Now, we couldn't hear the voices she was hearing. And I was like, because it's a fucking movie. There was no voices. It was a script. Yeah. I was like, are you serious? Like, do you really think at that point that she was hearing voices at the TV?
Yeah.
I was just like, and so I don't know what that is. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? And it does. I'm like you. I don't like stupid. I don't like that word. But
I say it all the time.
I
say
actively
it
try to
every video I make
to say that, and
it's just it makes me think that's what he thinks of me.
as the audience.
he treats his audience like they're stupid.
Yeah,
and it just shows. And time and again, like I when I see, especially in areas, again, like I think we all do this when it's areas that we have expertise in, and we see the blatant ignorance, where 5 seconds of Google will tell you what you're doing. Or if you're holding your phone with the app to your camera in your hand and you're actively telling it, do this, and then acting surprised at the result that you told it to do. It just shows me that you think your audience is stupid and you're exploiting that. And it's a shame. I think he's a shitty businessman. I think he's a shitty person. And he's just shitty. That's it. I have nothing more to say about him until the next time. So, you want to wrap up? Anything?
I think a load of old bollocks.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense, isn't it? It's just, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many episodes between the lot of you that you've seen of Zap Bagans. I've done a fair few videos on Ghost Adventures. It's exactly what I've come to expect from the show. It's just total nonsense.
You're right.
Just rubbish. Yeah. And like I was at his museum like a couple of weeks ago, and it's just bollocks. It's just complete trash.
Yeah. All right. That's it. That's it. All right. So you guys got anything coming up?
I do.
Oh, Dave, go ahead.
August 23rd, I will be speaking at the Paranormal Research Symposium in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Ooh. Look at you.
Going to talk about apps, phone apps that you can use to collect environmental data, not the ones that you typically would download like Ghost Radar and those things, but actually real apps that use the phone sensors and collect real information. And then I'll also talk about how you can statistically analyze it for some meaningful information.
Cool. Tim?
I helped him with that.
Awesome.
Tim, you didn't show up for the last damn talk, so you keep quiet over there.
I meant the statistics.
Yes, of course you will. Thank you.
I'm going to speak at our first Skeptic Camp in West Virginia with Dave. I think that is October 15th. And I'm going to talk about the experiment we did with the haunted item. And just give basic information and why we, how we wrapped around coming up with ideas to test a claim if something is haunted or not, or if it has an attachment, either way.
Okay.
And what we did. So he's like, do you think you could make that 45 minutes? And I was like, easy. I can make chocolate chip cookies and their description lasts 45 minutes.
For me, next weekend, I will be in Spring City, Pennsylvania, and I will be setting up my Skeptical Help booth at the Pennhurst Asylum Paracon. I'll be there for Saturday and Sunday, and if you're going there, if you show up, be sure to look for my booth. I'll be there. Donna will be there, set up with her Lucky Tiki Creations and all her crafts and stuff like that, and looking forward to it. And I might be speaking at there's a Skeptic Camp coming up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And it's developing now. And I just got an email from the organizer, and I might be speaking there after I speak at the Historical Society in Indiana, Pennsylvania, but that's not till October. So plenty of time. And there's more stuff that I have, but I'll save it for later. You got anything coming up?
I might either tomorrow or the day after. I'll be uploading a new video, and I'm flying back home in a couple of days.
Good. Get the fuck out of our country. Just go.
I felt so welcome.
Stop trashing our food.
No. I enjoyed your food.
And you had
just
bologna.
not your crap food.
You had fried bologna tonight.
I did,
and it wasn't as bad as the disgusting shit
but,
that you had before.
Oh, that was foul.
Yeah.
That was
Dude,
foul.
he had bologna that was
no,
and he picked it out of the package and it was dripping. Like there was just slime and water dripping off.
I just honestly, because we don't do just quick here, Tim and Dave. We don't do bologna. I don't think it's done anywhere outside America. Maybe Italy. I don't know.
Germany.
Yeah. Do they?
Bologna. It's Germany. Yeah.
It's Italian. So bologna or Bologna is Italian.
Bologna.
Shit.
Anyway.
How American was that?
Brilliant. Bologna. So I've never had it before, to the point where I never saw the word written down on paper. So I didn't even know how to pronounce it when someone wrote it up on my live chat, my live stream. And they were like, you got to try this thing. You got to try it. I'm like, all right, I'll try it. I just got it out there. I was like, I don't want to try that. It even stunk my fingertips. I couldn't get the smell of my fingertips for ages. So, no, not a fan of bologna.
No, that's okay.
Not a fan.
It's not for everyone.
No. Or your spray cheese can thing.
Cheese whiz.
Take it home.
Yeah, Cheese whiz.
The cans.
Easy cheese, is that what it's called?
He had the easy cheese. Yeah, easy cheesy, but he had the American version, which he didn't like. He found disgusting. But I made him try the cheddar version today.
I mean, I won't say I like it, but it was definitely better than the American cheese.
Right.
Oh, God, that was...
Yeah.
Yeah, again, that's another one. I've never seen that out anywhere outside America.
I'll send some to you.
No, you're all right.
I'll have Amazon ship a case.
No. We're good. I'm good.
All the flavors. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I hope
Thank you guys.
The conversation and the review of the episode of Ghost Adventures, and maybe some of the points that we made will stick with you. And the next time you watch his piece of shit show, you'll see and be like, oh yeah, I know what he's doing there. Hey, what's up, Taryn? With that, we will see you in a month. Who's up next?
I think it's probably my turn, so
Yeah,
I'll come
all
up
right.
with something.
We'll wait until the
The
Tuesday
day
night before to get a topic.
We'll get you the topic in time. You will research it the day before.
Yes, that's right. All right, everyone. Take care. We'll see you in a month.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Thank you.